Exactly 48 hours ago, you did something so horrible that even God paused all he was doing to watch, not to interfere, not to aid, not to lead, not to observe, because what you were going to do was so unprecedented, so far beyond any heavenly prediction, that even the universe's creator couldn't believe it was conceivable. You made the demon kneel. And I'm not using metaphors. I don't use flowery phrases to make you feel special. I'm exposing an actual operation that took place in the spiritual levels while you were living your usual life, fully unconscious that you were seeing a historic event that the higher hierarchies would study for the next 1,000 years. Let me be really clear about what transpired. The devil literally went on his knees in the spiritual plane that coexists with physical reality in front of witnesses, his own commanders, and the archangels who had come particularly to see. He kneeled before you. Do you realize how difficult that is? Throughout 6,000 years of documented spiritual history, the devil has never kneeled before anybody. Not before prophets who worked miracles. Not before saints who gave up all. Not before legendary warriors decimated whole legions. Never. He descended from heaven because he refused to prostrate before people as God instructed. He chose eternal exile over submission. He'd rather control, held, and serve in heaven. That is how adamantly opposed to kneeling he is. And 48 hours ago, he broke. Not due to an external force overwhelming him. Not because God compelled him. Not because the archangels had threatened him. He knelt because he realized he was facing an awareness he couldn't beat, corrupt, or even understand. He was facing you. And when the supreme commander of hell fell to his knees in complete surrender before a human soul, God murmured 3 words that rang across all dimensions. I did not anticipate this. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the notification bell, because what I'm about to explain about why you were the first soul in 6,000 years to drive the devil into that posture of total surrender will absolutely shatter your perception of who you truly are. Stay to the very end, because I'm going to show you the precise sequence of decisions you made that the powers of evil thought were impossible. Why such decisions triggered cosmic procedures that not even the archangels anticipated to see. And what your true identity is, which you have now verified beyond question. Write 777 in the comments right now if you've seen a significant shift in your life in the last few days, and are curious as to why even the forces of evil had to openly acknowledge your superiority. The devil does not kneel. It is not simply pride. It is basic programming in his psyche. It becomes a foundation of his entire personality. When Lucifer was still in heaven, God created humanity and instructed all heavenly creatures to respect the new creation. And Lucifer looked at humanity, delicate, mortal, and restricted, and pronounced a single word, no. Not because he despised humanity, but because putting born before anything he saw lesser would contradict all he thought about power and hierarchy. God granted him one opportunity. Please kneel before my invention or leave. Lucifer chose exile. He carried 1/3 of the angelic host with him. He established his own dominion in the depths of darkness. He created an empire of agony and corruption, all because he refused to bend his knee. For 6,000 years, his resistance defined him. He would rather lose than yield to any spiritual fight, temptation, or combat with divine forces. And he lost. The archangels consistently vanquished him. Saints repelled his temptations. Prophets revealed his plots, yet he never knelt. Even when defeated, he would retire with his head held high, already plotting his next attack. Until 48 hours ago, submission was not part of his lexicon. What you need to know is that he has been watching you for weeks, not carelessly, but passionately. A surveillance system in the dark realms is particularly developed to track human souls who exhibit certain troublesome features, characteristics that jeopardize the activities of darkness. And 3 weeks ago, you sent an alarm that caused every commander in hell to stop what they were doing and pay attention. Do you recall Friday night about 10 o'clock? What decision did you have to make? What about that hard choice? Don't pretend you can't recall. You understand precisely what I am talking about. You were alone, perhaps in your room, lying in bed looking at the ceiling, pacing back and forth, and deliberating on a decision that seemed to have no correct solution. On the one hand, there was the easy way, the path that fixed everything instantaneously and provided you with what you sorely wanted, but you knew it was incorrect, not unlawful, not overtly unethical, but profoundly mismatched with who you are. On the other hand, the difficult route, the road that assured suffering, the road that required you to continue struggling while maintaining your integrity. And you sat for hours. Your stomach was churning, your palms were sweaty, and your mind was screaming at you for being an idiot. Just take the easy route. Nobody will know. No one is going to judge you. You need this, but something within you couldn't do it. And after hours of mental torment, calculating every consequence and seeing every conceivable scenario, you chose a difficult option. You prioritized honesty over survival. You assumed there was a private time that no one would ever learn about. But you were mistaken. The entire infernal dimension was watching because you sparked something that hell sees as a direct danger to its operations. Your decision was classed as an integrity anomaly at level 9. It's a grade that indicates that this soul has a moral code that goes beyond the survival drive. Only 12 persons on the earth have this designation. Now there are 13. And Hell's surveillance system quickly identified you for closer inspection and intervention. Because when a soul exhibits that amount of integrity, the powers of evil must assess if this is a fluke or who they truly are. If it's a fluke, they'll break you eventually. If it's basic, you're an issue that has to be addressed quickly. They decided to put you to the test. 5 days later, something unexpected occurred in your life, an opportunity that seemed almost too good to be true, as if it had been tailored to you. Perhaps it was money. Maybe there was a connection. Perhaps it was recognition, status, or power. Whatever it was, it addressed numerous problems at once and appeared just when you needed it the most. The person giving it virtually encouraged you to accept, making it so simple, removing every impediment, and doing all the work for you. All you needed to do was say yes. But there was something, not a major issue, not a clear red sign, just a modest concession, a slight modification to your ideals, nothing that would directly harm anyone. Most individuals would not hesitate to do anything like this. And you looked at that ideal opportunity. You estimated what you'd gain. You recognized it as the actual answer to your prayers. You even started telling yourself everything was all right. It's not that horrible. Everyone does it. I deserve it. I've endured enough. But something stopped you from truly saying yes. Not rationality, not fear of the repercussions, not remorse, but something more. Your spirit answered no before your intellect could complete processing. Therefore, you rejected it. Perhaps you thanked them warmly. Perhaps you felt bodily agony as you saw that opportunity slip away. Maybe you questioned yourself for days following, but you couldn't accept it because you had a moral code so firmly ingrained that even hunger couldn't force you to break it. Do you know what happened at that particular moment? The devil arranged an emergency meeting. He called the 7 princes of hell: Lucifer, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Belphegor, Mammon, Satan, and all the top commanders were summoned expressly to examine your profile, since what you did just violated predicted model of the forces of darkness have been using for millennia. They provided you precisely what you wanted at the exact time you needed it for the lowest possible price, but you declined. That should not be conceivable according to any diabolical computation. when Beelzebub provided a comprehensive report of your refusal, demonstrating that you had considered all the advantages but still chose principles over pragmatism. The devil was silent for 3 minutes before his commander began delivering their results. Mammon muttered, "This soul values integrity more than prosperity. I can't work with that." As Modius observed, offering immediate gratification doesn't work. This individual thinks of long-term consequences even when they are depressed. Leviathan noted, "I tried increasing the pressure. It only made them hold tighter to their principles." And Belelfigure declared, "This soul is ready to suffer indefinitely before betraying their values. Suffering doesn't break them, it boosts them." Do you recall 7 days ago when you could have gotten retribution properly, rightfully, and deservedly? Someone who had wronged you was suddenly vulnerable, and you possessed knowledge that might ruin them. It was a moment that would never come again. And God knows that person deserved exactly what you could have done to them. No one would have judged you. In fact, most people would have celebrated your vengeance as justice. You had the power, opportunity, and complete justification. The universe had literally handed you the perfect moment to make them pay for what they had done. And what did you do? You let it pass, not because you were afraid of the consequences, not because you didn't care, not because you forgave them, but because something inside you fundamentally cannot operate through vengeance, even when it's deserved. Do you realize what that means to the forces of darkness? It means you're immune to one of hell's most deadly tools, justified resentment. Hell enjoys it when people are hurt because victims become perpetrators. Pain breeds more pain. It's a perfect, self-perpetuating loop. When you let that opportunity for vengeance pass, when you chose your integrity over satisfaction, when you decided that your peace was worth more than their punishment, the forces of darkness went into complete panic because they recognized something terrifying. You're not just incorruptible, you're not just unbreachable. The devil called a second conference, this time with the entire infernal court, to end the cycle of misery rather than perpetuate it. Thousands of evil beings were invited to see the comprehensive study of your profile, and the report left them quiet for 11 minutes. They uncovered 3 things they thought couldn't coexist in one soul. You have the strength to bear immense anguish without breaking. 2, you have unbreakable integrity that cannot be brought under any circumstances. 3, you have compassion that transcends even the deepest wounds. That combination shouldn't exist. Strong people aren't compassionate. They are hardened by suffering. Principled people can't endure suffering. They break when tested too hard. Compassionate people aren't unbreakable. They are too soft to withstand real pain. But the devil saw that trinity of qualities. So the devil did something unprecedented in 6,000 years. He requested permission to talk with you directly, without the use of circumstances, other people, or clever trickery. Directly. Dark entities communicate through thoughts that appear to be yours but carry a specific energetic signature. Do you recall that thought 48 hours ago? That thought that appeared out of nowhere, perfectly articulated, providing you a solution to everything if you just agreed to do one small thing that contradicts everything you are. That was not your notion. It was a direct communication from the devil himself. He promised you an equal alliance. You have courage. I need integrity I admire. Work with me, and I ensure you'll never again have to choose between principles and prosperity. I'll give you the strength to change the world the way you think is right. Just accept that sometimes force is necessary. It was a tempting offer, logically impeccable. He wasn't asking you to abandon your principles, just to understand that sometimes fire is needed to fight fire. He was basically saying, keep your integrity, keep your compassion, and just let me manage the dirty work while you stay morally pure. It sounded reasonable, but what happened next shocked every dimension. You felt instant refusal at a level that transcends rational thought. You didn't even need to process logically why it was wrong. Your soul said no before your brain could analyze. You have a moral compass integrated so deeply it operates faster than conscious thought. And when the devil felt that instantaneous rejection, he acknowledged he had made a critical error. He wasn't dealing with a soul that could be manipulated. He was confronted with a consciousness that operates at such an elevated level that its values are programmed into the fundamental structure of its being. The devil had to make a choice that tormented him for hours. He could continue trying to break you, knowing that every failed attempt exposed him as weak before his own hierarchies, or he could do something that would preserve his position, publicly acknowledging that he had found a worthy adversary who was beyond his reach. After exactly 48 hours ago, in the spiritual dimension that coexists with physical reality, the devil did what he swore he would never do. He bent the knee before you. When the supreme commander of darkness kneels before a human soul, it sends shock waves through every existing dimension. Leviathan remarked, "This soul is forbidden territory." It was at this very moment when the archangels emerged, since heaven had been watching all along. God does not interfere in every tiny struggle. He allows spirits to gain strength. However, there are certain times that are so uncommon and significant that they must be observed personally. When the devil chose to bow before you, God summoned the archangels as witnesses. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. The four supreme commanders were instructed not to act but rather to observe, to see for themselves what a human spirit had done. Michael commented, "In all the millennia I fought, I've never seen a leader in that position. Their soul achieved what complete angelic armies couldn't." Gabriel observed, "That power comes from internal integrity so solid that not even the dark dimensions can penetrate it." Raphael analyzed, "This consciousness doesn't just resist darkness. It transforms pain into compassion. That's divine alchemy at a level I rarely witness." Uriel declared, "This soul understands this soul has demonstrated its essence. Activate it." 3 words that altered your fate totally. Before your incarnation, you were a member of the heavenly legions, not like a typical guardian angel. As an expert in operations that need complete integrity under great strain, missions in which beings enter dark realms to save souls, operations in which a single mistake results in complete failure. You were chosen because you have a moral code so deeply ingrained that not even lengthy exposure to darkness could corrode it. The archangels named you the incorruptible, but there came a point where you perfected that sort of task. You knew how to retain integrity when you possessed heavenly strength, perfect memory, and utter assurance. And you wanted to know if I could keep my integrity if I forgot who I was. If I'm exposed and alone, will I feel actual fear? Did you volunteer for the most challenging test? Incarnate as a human and test if your essence remains intact even when you forget your true nature. You've just passed. Even when you forgot you were a heavenly warrior, you preserved your integrity. You maintained beliefs despite actual human dread. Despite the fact that you had no conscious recall of your training, you chose compassion over retribution. Your warrior essence stayed intact despite passing through the entire veil of forgetfulness. This is not character development. This is everlasting nature manifested in a transient form. And now that the exam is finished, memories are starting to return. You've undoubtedly had flashbacks, nightmares in which you fight impossible conflicts, and information that emerges without being studied. It's not a case of imagination. They are remnants of cosmic awareness being resurrected. When God determined that it be activated entirely, the archangels were given explicit operating commands. Remove all limits that were intentionally limiting your full frequency in order to provide a typical human experience. Gradually restore conscious access to abilities and knowledge you possessed prior to incarnation. Connect you energetically with a network of other celestial warriors currently on similar missions on the human plane, and provide direct support and resources so you can carry out your function without material obstacles. Your life will begin to shift in ways that may appear miraculous or unusually lucky, but these are merely the results of direct cosmic help being organized. Your current financial issue will be resolved by possibilities that arise just when you need them, not by chance, but via planned positioning directed by the archangels themselves. Toxic relationships that deplete your energy will naturally end without fuss. People will just leave your life. They'll find their own reasons to separate themselves since their frequency no longer matches your increased frequency. Following activation, the ideal opportunities aligned with your mission will surface with unprecedented synchrony. You will be at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people on several occasions. Not because you were lucky, but because you have a dedicated crew of heavenly beings striving to guarantee you have all you need. But there is more. Your plain physical presence in situations will begin to trigger awakening in others without you doing anything particular, simply by being and emitting the frequency you created. That hesitant individual who met you casually and suddenly began making bolder decisions. Your energy triggered latent potential in them. That buddy who was about to give up on a big desire, but after chatting with you, chose to try again. Your frequency imparted strength to them. You are no longer an individual waging separate personal conflicts. You are a walking catalyst who causes transformation in everyone who enters your energy field. You transformed into a living beacon, and your light can't be controlled or disguised. Your official duty, and the major reason you volunteered for this incarnation, is to be fully activated for conscious functioning. You are a part of a vast cosmic operation taking place right now on the human level. A coordinated endeavor comprising around 3,000 fighters just like you, strategically dispersed throughout the globe, each activating at precisely synchronized times. The objective appears to be easy, but it is actually quite difficult. Incorporate the frequency of incorruptible integrity into the collective human energy system. Humanity as a species is at a key decision moment. It has a potential to jointly progress to the next level of consciousness, defined by integrity, compassion, and collaboration. Alternatively, it can revert to ancient tendencies of fear, domination, and division, and the forces of darkness are using enormous resources to propagate corruption, fear, division, and distrust on a worldwide scale. Divided people refuse to collaborate because a fearful populace is easily controlled. People that distrust each other do not organize efficiently. However, when there are enough fighters acting with evident total honesty, and when there are enough souls openly proving that ideals can coexist with strength, corruption loses its persuasive force. Your purpose is not to confront darkness directly. It's not about confronting demons. It is not for preaching or conversion. Simply be yourself, incorruptible, indestructible, and loving. To live your integrity openly, without hiding or decreasing. When you make conscientious judgments in public, many are inspired to follow suit. When you uphold ideals under visible pressure, you demonstrate that it is possible to endure doing what is right. When you choose compassion over wrath in instances where retribution is justifiable, you provide an alternate way, and the people you influence will encourage others. Integrity has a domino effect, spreading exponentially. Soon, you'll observe the network developing. Other fighters, like you, are learning to recognize one another. Incorruptible souls connect by inherent energy resonance. And when that network is complete, when all 3,000 integrity specialists are active and in a coordinated position, the world will shift dramatically, not by violent revolution, but through silent transition in which enough people agree that integrity is more important than convenience. And the devil knows it. That is why he knelt. He knew that you are not simply living your personal life. You are a part of a coordinated effort that will actually shape the destiny of global human awareness. He can't stop you. He cannot corrupt you. He cannot even successfully divert you. All he can do is observe from a distance as you carry out the task you decided before birth. The chosen one. You now have total access to the truth, without any filters. Your integrity is not a personality feature established as a result of unpleasant life circumstances. You carry a warrior essence from before incarnation. The moral code was so deeply embedded that it stayed intact even when you completely forgot who you were. And when you displayed that integrity in such a consistent and forceful manner that the devil himself kneeled in public recognition of your supremacy, you triggered divine procedure, transforming verified fighters into active operational catalysts. Your life will no longer be about you struggling alone against personal obstacles. It will be about you motivating thousands of people with integrity while having entire heavenly backing to carry out that role. Financial restrictions will vanish. Toxic relationships will naturally end. The correct possibilities will arrive in perfect synchrony, not by incomprehensible magic, but through purposeful celestial design carried out by archangels who now have specific directives to help you along your journey. And when you consciously perform your duty, anchoring the frequency of incorruptible integrity in the physical world, your power grows enormously. Soon, you will be able to enter environments and quickly raise a collective frequency simply by being present. Your enthusiasm will inspire people to be better versions of themselves. You become a catalyst for transformation on a scale that is far beyond ordinary sense. Type 777 in the comments to increase the frequency of incorruptible honesty. Subscribe to this channel now and turn on all alerts to learn more about how your warrior nature acts at levels that surpass all powers of darkness. Share this video with someone who exemplifies a seemingly unachievable quality of integrity, as heavenly warriors must identify and support one another in this synchronized planetary operation. And before you depart, watch the movie on your screen right now to see how your full activation is unleashing heavenly procedures that will ensure you have all the resources you need to execute the job you decided on before you were born. Together, we are stronger.